love how like we both like, do a little head tilt.
All right.
That's gonna be our thing now. Just anyhow, anyhow. I'm a little sticky right now. It's a little,
Didn't turn the AC on fast enough, did you? Or,
yeah,
or early enough?
it's a little toasty. Little toasty. So if I start to slowly melt, at least I'm not near as sun-kissed today as I can be. I know I'm a little rosy right here, but
Mm-hmm. You're glowing, but I guess if you start to look like an old candle, I'll know it's not good.
yeah. Yeah. We we got things to do, y'all. So we're gonna hop along right into it there.
Yeah,
Um,
let's see. Like in the real world, where are we right now? I don't even know.
you
it's
know,
it's August. We're very busy. We could be anywhere in the world. So
we should have started with like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Like
yeah,
that show was good. I liked that show.
yeah, I was a little too
You,
old for it.
I was gonna say you might have been too old for that show. All right,
All
so
right, what do we have today? I don't even know what you're going to show me. I only have a
we're
vague knowledge of it.
we're gonna look at a quilt exhibit from the New England Quilt Museum, but first, we're down here. It's the end of
Ah,
August.
okay.
I
So
don't,
that means we are probably in Lincoln or on our way there.
well, I will have already been in Lincoln for a while.
And I'll
So,
be getting ready to be on my way there.
yeah. So, yeah, and the end of August, I think I remember at like 12:30 in the morning texting you and be like, "Holy crap, it's August on the 1st."
No. And
So,
it is well into August now.
yeah. So, that's what's up. So, it means we'll actually around when this airs means we'll kind of be finalizing what our September calendar looks like.
Hopefully not as busy, but
No. At least, well, no. So,
I haven't even thought about it. I don't even want to think about it because August has just been so jam packed. So
yeah, right after I get back from this big trip that I'm on that will have started up here, I don't get home till September 2nd. And yeah, it's a lot. I'm gonna miss my bed so much. Okay. So we are looking at an exhibit that was, I think, the second quarter of this year.
okay.
And it's all about tiny pieces.
Tiny pieces.
And
Yeah.
yep, and this is the small gallery that we really like to look at because it often has antique quilts. It's quilts that are in the museum collection. There's some really cool ones. So this is what we're gonna look at. So got tiny pieces. I'm questioning the vision. Textile historians search for the sources of the quilt style fads that exist in our field of study. One of the most entertaining to me, me as Pam Weeks, is the late 19th century craze for quilts made of thousands of tiny pieces. A potential influence may have been textiles exhibited at the Philadelphia Centennial Exposition of 1876. Or perhaps there is an as yet undiscovered call for entry for a competition to see who could make a quilt with more pieces than anyone else. The newspapers of the period mentioned sending multitudinous competition quilts to be sent off to the Centennial. Quilts were created in the early part of the 1800s with hundreds of diamonds, creating huge radiating stars. We have a fine example hanging behind the bed in this gallery. Whoo, Nelly, is it? And these large bursting star quilts are not rare. There was a design aesthetic popular at the time for fancy, which called for every aspect to be decorated. Tables, chairs, bureaus, wood boxes. All were highly embellished with paintings from schoolgirls or highly trained professional decorators. But it is the competition quilts of the last quarter of the 1800s that fascinate me. At this time, there was an abundance of affordable cotton and silk fabrics, either to be bought off the bolt or purchased from mills or garment makers as leftovers or cutoffs, often by the pound. The newspapers were full of comments by snarky reporters about the waste of time and the silliness in creating patchwork quilts with tens of thousands of tiny pieces. Man, and they hadn't met Bonnie Hunter. There are fictional short stories published in ladies' journals about the quest for silk patches for a crazy quill. All the men in the household find their silk hat linings,
Cravats. I
cravats,
think it's cravats. Yeah.
or waistcoats, a type of vest, with bits cut out for the quilts. The quilt in the NEQM collection with the most pieces is Margaret Bryan's little quilt that is comprised of 56 blocks, each with 352 half-inch squares, totaling 19,721 pieces of cotton cloth. There is not much to find out about her. She never married, lived with her mother for decades on the family farm. But I did discover in my latest search that she was a dressmaker. Perhaps that's where all the scraps originate. It's hanging in the gallery to your left. Enjoy the tiny pieces in every quilt. Wow.
So we have recently finished Roderick Kirikov's Quilts in America.
Mm-hmm.
Or why do I get this name wrong? It's the American Quilt. I'm sorry. I apologize. The American Quilt. Hold it up to remind everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a whole section about this, this time period of tiny pieces and sort of this competitiveness of quilt makers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also calling to mind Sue Reich's book. I think it's 10,000 Pieces and Counting, which also covers all of this. So Pam is touching on, all of the things about this particular time period, like this Victorian era where things were just, more is more is more is more. And I love more is more, but sometimes I'm like, they say like take one accessory off before you leave. So to some of these quilts, like you need to take one accessory off. But it's absolutely true. Reporters made fun of people. Women were always proclaiming, how many pieces, individual pieces of fabric, and it was almost like this competition.
Mm-hmm.
But Grace Snyder was the one who went over 40,000 pieces. Mic drop. And she is the one who her quilt it will not be in this exhibit, but she's the one that did those they're like flower baskets, and she used these teeny tiny little, like insanely small pieces of fabric, and I think they were all like half square triangles. So yeah, I think there's this sense of accomplishment about going small and going like excessive.
Mm-hmm.
I know our friend Amy Pabst, who is a contemporary quilt maker, modern quilt maker, she makes very tiny
Log cabins.
either log cabins or courthouse steps, depending, and,
Mm-hmm.
some of them have the pineapple cut. But she, like, the very start for her was like basically competing against herself, like how many pieces can I put into such a tiny space? And
Mm-hmm.
then, so I think there's a sense of like, I don't know that it necessarily is bad competitiveness. It's kind of fun competitiveness,
Mm-hmm.
And shame on the reporters for giving these women grief because they were doing something that made them, happy.
Well, that, and I mean, if the reporters are men, what
And
else? What else?
they've got a hole in their necktie.
Yeah, well, like what else? What else do we do but tear down any accomplishments of women?
Sure, yeah.
All right.
Um,
And we starting off
oh my
strong.
god, here it is. Is this the one she's talking about?
Maybe. We'll find out. I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
this is obscenely very tiny. These little bits.
yeah. And I don't know,
Wow.
like, because I'm a Bonnie Hunter girl, I am not afraid of tiny pieces. Um, it's interesting too, because she, like, based on her placement, these might all still be the same size, but if she put like four tiny blocks together to make these
Right. It
look
looks
bigger, like,
bigger.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's not necessarily like this consistency, but it almost kind of looks like little twinkles of a star,
Mm-hmm.
kind of off.
Yeah, it seems to me. I mean, we obviously haven't gotten up close yet, but it seems to me. I mean, she definitely had like a plan to make this crosshatch pattern. I think she did a pretty good job
Mm-hmm.
considering there are,
Mm-hmm.
if this is the one they're talking about with almost 20,000 pieces in it, which I would believe.
Yeah. Yep.
Ah,
That's
yep, it
it.
is.
Yep.
So this is Margaret Bryan's little quilt, and I'm wondering if that was a joke in the family, like, oh, your little quilt. 1875, Illinois, made by Margaret Bryan. Cottons, hand pieced, hand quilted. According to family history, Margaret Bryan made this quilt while she lived in the Illinois prairie in a log cabin built by her father. She was known in her community as a superior quilter, and this quilt is considered to be her masterpiece. Embroidered on the back of the quilt is the inscription, Margaret, comma, little quilt. 19,712 is written in pencil next to the inscription. This is the number of pieces in the quilt. Margaret's quilt was passed down to her great nephew who donated it to the museum.
Wow.
So I'm wondering if the number was written in there because I've seen ones where they literally like make a label and say, you know, like I, Mary Smith, made this quilt and it has da da number of pieces. I wonder if that number 19712 was written there because she was like in the newspaper or something
Oh,
and
maybe.
jotted it on the quilt itself so that, you know, they would have that number.
Yep, maybe. Look how tiny. I wish on the
Wow.
placard they said how tiny these were.
I mean, to me, they look like half inch squares, but I mean, without, I guess, without something, without
Banana for scale.
yeah, I'm sorry, I dropped it. No, without banana for square for scale. I don't know, but yeah, those look like they might be half-inch squares.
Yeah.
Yowza. Good job, Margaret.
Well, and all the planning she had to do to
Mhm.
execute.
To get that, yes, to get that white or off-white
Because like I can only
diagonal.
imagine like, how many patches one of these big squares has.
Mhm.
We're often talking about, 4 patch, 9 patch, 16 patch. Like this is a 300 patch. Like
Right, I know. I think I was when you see the ones that are like 16 patch or what's I guess the next number up is like 24. I can't remember to keep it square. It's like, you know, it's specific increments. But when you get up to the ones that are like 24, 32, whatever, like that's a lot of patches. This has got
mhm.
to be in literally in the hundreds or
Yeah, when you
100.
when you consider like the 4 patch is this little thing right here.
Mhm.
Yep.
I love little and you know, I love teeny miniature things and I can make small things. I can do small. I just can't do small so many times it gets big
Mhm.
because like that is I mean I could see why they would call this her masterpiece because it
Now,
took her quite a while.
they said hand quilted, so you can see that in this border. And it looks like
Mhm.
maybe the only other thing that's quilted is the
Like the
light.
diagonals. Mhm.
Yeah. Although actually, is this
Yeah, I could
quilting right
see. Yeah,
here?
it looks like she's probably skipped a certain number and just done
Yeah, there's
diagonals
some
through
right here.
those.
Yeah, like maybe she just did kind of
Yeah.
because I'm thinking like once you get down, like there's so many. Yeah, it looks like I could see a diagonal right here. There's so many seams that like
Mhm.
quilting it with anything intricate would just be your nightmare come true. Trying to
Gosh, can
get
you
through a bunch of
imagine
those
what the
things.
back of the top looks like? I mean,
I hope, I really hope she spun her seams and her 4 patches.
it
Um,
looks like I mean on that one you're circling right now, it kind of looks like she did, but yeah, that you know, and how she might have pressed the seams if
but it doesn't look like here. It doesn't look like she was like joining, this row of 4 patches and this row of 4 patches. It doesn't look like
it
she took care to try to nest the
yeah to me
seams
you
together.
know to me it looks like I mean I see some that like I might say like oh that clearly she started as like a little four patch but I also see you know and it really is kind of about how you press your seams and I think historical quilt makers may not have always been like right there beside an iron especially when you're didn't have electricity and you're talking about you
I
know the
don't
kind of
really
thing
know
that
that they were always ironing them anyways.
well exactly that's my point like there may have come a point where they wanted to iron it like when it's all done to get it just smooth and flat but yeah so not ironing while you're going maybe just finger pressing it almost looks like in some cases it's the strips themselves that have been sewn together but again that could just be like
I
this
think
little section we're seeing.
I think she likely for the blocks made strips of 4 patches and then sewed strips of 4 patches together.
Mm-hmm.
There's an opportunity hole here. Yeah, you can see how big her seam allowance
Oh my goodness. And
is.
that is a big seam allowance on
Yeah,
that.
it's big.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. This is a very cool.
Yeah. Definitely a
Yeah.
very cool quilt.
And like all the planning and fabric she needed, because like the blocks are pretty consistent with the colors, that she's using the off
Hmm.
colors. Um, this is, I'm not gonna lie, this is something that I would consider making a reproduction of by machine.
And be done when you're 112?
I don't know, like when you get kind of into that assembly line,
Mm-hmm.
like you can it would probably be one of those things where like I'd work on one big block at a time in between other projects,
Mm-hmm.
as Bonnie Hunter would call it, as a leader ender project.
Ah.
But yeah, this thing's cool. I might have to keep that in my brain. You'll have to remind me.
Mm. Interesting.
So between the walls of one quilt to the next, there were these little kind of journal-y entry things that Pam was probably like, these are great little tidbits. We got to add these. So they're not necessarily related to anything in particular. So this one says Stevens Point Journal, Stevens Point, Wisconsin, March 29th, 1884. A certain girl has pieced a crazy quilt containing 9,000 bits of ribbon. It must have taken at least 3 minutes sewing to the piece. That would make 27,000 minutes, an hour a day for a year, and nearly 3 months. In that time, this foolish girl might have learned a modern language, became an accomplished cook and housekeeper, studied no end of history and science. Ooh, I'm surprised she's allowed to study those. Or have done benevolent and educational work among the ignorant and poor that would have lasted to the eternities. Man,
All right, you disgusting, rude Detroit Free Press journalist, if you want to call yourself a journalist. You know what she did? You know what she really did learn? 27,000 minutes. She learned how to be a damn good quilter, is what she learned how to do.
I know. She learned how to not center you in her life.
Yeah. See, I mean,
Hashtag
this is the kind of rhetoric that sort of predated the whole idea of quilts as artwork. But again, like this foolish, trivial, nothing burger of a thing you did.
the
Come
misogyny
on.
is real.
Yeah. That's rude. I hate that.
Yeah, here's
And a
one.
lot of them are that way. I mean, again, Sue Reich's book is full of those kind of things.
I wouldn't be surprised if these came out of Sue's book, but your
Yeah.
turn.
So the Fresno Republican, Fresno, California, January 10th,
My birthday.
1878. Oh yeah, yeah. The champion time waster, yep, there we go, is now Rebecca Moore, who has just finished a quilt containing 20,173 pieces.
Wow, dude, like
Well,
don't be jelly.
okay, Fresno reporter. Okay, Athens Messenger, Athens, Ohio, February 8th, 1883. The Lowell Courier. Now, is that like
This is massive.
your
They're
Lowell?
Lowell, well, I'm assuming it's Mass because they're saying Lowell Courier in East Brookfield or another
Okay, so
Massachusetts
that's
town,
Massachusetts. Okay, so
assuming.
syndication, they pick things up from other newspapers. So the Lowell Courier says an East Brookfield woman, aged 66 years, oh, an old woman, boasts of having made a patchwork quilt containing 2 million pieces. Okay, I don't think that was right. It is not stated what she did between whiles, but we don't believe she made many speeches at women's rights conventions. Okay, so first of all, I take issue with 2 million because I don't think so. They would have to be microscopic pieces, or that quilt would have to have been enormous. Because I mean, look at what we just looked at, a full
Mhm.
size quilt that had 19,000 pieces. That was clearly a big quilt, right? It's a bed size quilt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think 2 million is a bit of an exaggeration. Nonetheless, she could still be a women's rights person. Oh, okay. A Norristown woman aged 88 years and blind has just finished a quilt begun 3 years ago containing a 643,274. No, wait a minute. Is that all one number?
Yeah, it
Is
looks
that
like
saying
it.
643 trillion, 274 billion, 640 million? Okay. I thought it was like going to give a range. I don't think that's a range. I think that is like a number.
I
One
know,
of
poor
these,
I wish she'd done us a favor and put it all in one line, but holy moly.
yeah, one of these things might be a little more difficult to believe than the other, but not much. So I'm thinking she probably is 88. She's probably blind, but there's no way anybody made a quilt in 3 years' time that contained 6 trillion pieces. Like,
Unless that's all she did.
well,
And
okay, let's
and
think
it
about it
and
this
it
way.
covers like the house.
Yeah, but like I think she would have had to have fallen into like a black hole and like ripped the space-time continuum, because if you think about in our day and time, like the number trillion really wasn't a thing until we it applied to the national debt and rich people like Elon Musk, and that's a thing that's just happened here in 2026-ish. A
It is
trillion is a
hard. It is a
lot.
difficult number to fathom
A
for
trillion
people.
is a lot. And I've heard those crazy things. Like if you just start counting, one, two, three, four, and like one, I can't remember how they do it. It's like one number every half second or something. It takes you like your entire life to get to a trillion or something. I'm exaggerating. Understand I'm exaggerating, but I certainly take advantage with that number.
All right, this one is crazy patchwork. Having a large assortment of remnants and pieces of handsome brocaded silks, satins, and velvets, we are putting them up in assorted bundles and furnishing them for crazy patchwork cushions, mats, tidies, etc.,
Tidy.
etc. Package number one is a handsome bundle of exquisite silk, satins, and brocaded velvets, all different. Just the thing for the most superb pattern of fancy work, sent postpaid for 56 cents in postal note or 1 cent stamps. Package number two, containing 3 times as much as package number one, sent postpaid for $1. These are all of the very finest quality and cannot be equaled at any other silkworks in the US at 3 times our prices. They will please any lady. One order always brings a dozen more. Ladies' Manual of Fancy Work with 400 illustrations and full instructions for artistic fancy work, handsomely bound, postpaid 50 cents, order now, address. Um, I would absolutely fall for these ads in the
Oh
time.
yeah, for sure. I'd be like, how many package number twos can I order?
Yep, 110%.
Oh, okay. The Fitchburg Sentinel, Fitchburg, Massachusetts, February 28th, 1877. Ashby. The Ladies' Charitable Association of the Second Parish gave an entertainment in the vestry of their church Thursday evening, February 22nd. That's my grandfather's birthday. Tables loaded with fancy and useful articles found a ready sale. A charmed bed quilt composed of 999 different pieces was received by Mrs. A. Smith. Near the close of the evening, F.W. Wright disposed of the articles not already, I think there's a typo, not already sold at auction. The society netted about $70. So the idea of a charm quilt is supposed to be that there are no repeats of the fabric. Like 999 pieces means there are 999 pieces, like different pieces of fabric, right? That they don't repeat.
Yep.
And that was, I guess that's kind of the other competition we have here, is
Mm-hmm.
not is the number of pieces, but also that you have enough friends and family and resources to find yourself 999 different fabrics that are not the
Yep.
same. Wow. This is well, I know a famous quilt is the Rebecca Scattergood quilt that is like this.
Yep. This one is absolutely nuts. So this is Sadie L. Swain or Sarah W. Swain, New Hampshire. Sadie's quilt circa 1880 cotton. Multitudinous pieced quilts, also called competition quilts, were popular in the last half of the 19th century. This one contains 8,870 diamonds or parts of diamonds. The quilt passed down in the Swain family to the donor, who is Sadie's great niece.
Wow.
Yep, and it's tied. Again,
Oh,
the
okay. So
kind of planning.
those yellow pops you see, that's the ties. I kept looking at it like, this is such an interesting fabric. Like, what is,
Mhm.
okay. I
Yeah,
see
the
now.
planning to make sure that all the triangles on each, round are the same. And I kind of love it too, because like her rounds are just a little bit funky. Because like here, she's not totally on
Yeah,
point.
it is
Yeah,
a
so
little wonky and
yeah, she gets a little bit wonky, which
mhm,
just continues out, but like I love it.
mhm. Yeah, this is one of those ones I think if you mess it up too much, like it doesn't lay flat,
Hmm.
like you kind of get
No,
the
it
mountain
doesn't
in the
lay
middle.
flat.
Okay.
It's so hard to get these kind of quilts to lay flat.
Yeah, once you put that many little tiny pieces in a certain configuration and they're selvage, they're warp and they're weft or going in different
Hmm.
directions. Yeah, you do get
Hmm.
some
Yep,
fabric
yep,
doesn't behave
yep,
itself.
yep,
But yeah, this is pretty amazing considering. I mean, wow. And
yep.
don't you have something in your collection that's kind of similar to this, don't you? Kind of your at least I know like maybe it's a Lone Star or a Star of
Well,
Bethlehem
I
and
mean,
not
like my
this.
my star quilt.
Uh-huh. Oh, is it a star? It's a full star. Okay. I just always see like it's on your business card. So really only see the center of it
Yeah,
and
it's
I mean
got it's got corner stars too.
okay. Okay. So it's
Hmm.
got stars on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, this is like, well, I was started off making a star. I'm just gonna keep going and going.
yep. Yeah, this is like a full-on radiating kind of
Oh my
star.
goodness. And all of the different fabrics. Um, it looks like as she goes out, she repeats, some
Yeah,
rings of
I
the same
mean, probably
fabrics
this
repeating.
like she's repeated like
Hmm.
this double pink a couple times, but we
Hmm.
know how popular it was. So
Hmm.
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's a bananas one. All right. We're gonna go into the drawers here. So this top drawer is Sarah Winslow, a sonnet mass. I don't know if I'm saying that right. A sonnet. I think
I
that's
can't
a
see it
sonnet.
well enough, and I'm not from
S-
Massachusetts, so you're better at that than me.
yeah, I think it's a sonnet. Or it's Asonet. I think that's on the Cape. 16 patch, circa 1900, cotton hand and machine piece tied. There are 255 4 3/4 inch blocks, each comprised of 16 squares for a total of 4,080 pieces.
Hmm.
This one's just subtle but effective.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean they're just small 16 patches. I'm sorry,
Hmm.
right? 16 4 4. Yeah.
Yep. I don't know why, but like I really like this like neutral fabric right here.
Mm. Yeah, I like the blues, of course, like that one blue in the center, kind of against. We can't see all of that block.
This one.
That's we've heard it called the Lancaster blue, even though it's not necessarily a correct term for it, but it's the double blue.
Yep.
I think that's might be one of my favorite fabrics, from that
Yeah.
time period.
I mean, blue's my favorite color, so. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, now we're going on to the second one here. Alice M. Pond, Milford, New Hampshire, postage stamp project, unfinished. Cotton hand sewn. Note the letter from the textile company where Mrs. Pond wrote to purchase cotton scraps. How adorable is that?
Oh goodness. Oh my goodness. Look, so those are all the scraps that are in that box.
Mm-hmm.
All the pieces. Oh my goodness. And
Yep.
how exciting, right? To get that, to receive that in the mail and like, if you've just maybe been making your clothing or been making quilts, just buying fabric, say from your local general store, purveyor, whatever, they might have had not a huge selection. So
Mm-hmm.
you kind of get what they have. But I mean, can you imagine getting this in the mail and just being like,
And wanting to stay up all night sewing. Here's the letter.
yes, like, I want to make something right away.
I don't know if I took another picture of that letter. Let's find out. I did. So we have Mrs. Alice M. Pond, North River Road, Milford, New Hampshire. So they're writing to her. This is 1933, November 17th. Dear Madam, we are in receipt of your order for £5 print patchwork pieces for $1.16, for which we thank you very much. These are our best quality, larger sized patchwork pieces consisting of all beautiful fast color prints. However, we are now under the NRA and are doing our part to help. Also, cotton goods having gone way up in price, we have been forced to raise the price of these lovely prints and now sell them at £5 for $1.20, plus 19 cents postage charge, totaling $1.39 complete, and assure you they are well worth this price. As you have already sent 116, kindly send us the balance of 23 cents more in stamps or coin to complete the charge. We also have lovely cotton pieces a little smaller in size at £6 for $1.20 plus 20 cents postage charge. Thank you. Yours truly, Saftler Manufacturing Company.
Poplar, yeah. So at the beginning of this, I thought, well, my gosh, what a nice letter to give somebody when they bought something from you. Like somebody had to type that letter. It's not like it's a form letter that they just Xeroxed and threw in there. But then I'm like, oh, they wanted the other 23 cents. That's why, I mean, I understand. So if you didn't know, the NRA, not the National Rifle Association, the NRA, because this is 1933, we're in the Depression,
Mhm.
it's the National Recovery Administration, which I think there might have been a National Recovery Act too, wasn't there? Or was
I
it
think
just
so.
the administration? Yeah. In any event, their symbol was an eagle, and yeah, it was a very good thing. But I guess I kind of been like, I don't know. I guess it depends on how she had to write to them. I'm assuming that maybe it wasn't like fill out this coupon in a magazine and get this for $1.16. It probably was, I've sent you money, send me this thing. And they were like, well, the price is this much now. I mean, I would think
Hmm.
that you would think that they'd honor, if it was advertised somewhere for $1.16, you think they'd honor
They
that. But
probably didn't have laws like that then. They do now.
well,
And
true,
imagine the
true.
trust. Imagine the trust the company has to send you, because we're still definitely in an age of pay on receipt. So to like send it out and be like, oh, by the way, send us a little more money. Because honestly, it's like, what were they gonna do if she didn't?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
come and disassemble her quilt. Um, Yeah, these are just the cutest. Okay, moving on here. We're going down to, I think, I feel like there was one
Cigar,
in
was
here
it
that
the cigar band?
but I just feel like there's one I skipped, but I'm pretty sure we go down to the third one. And we've seen this one before. So this is cigar band table topper. Tobacco companies wrap cigars with silk ribbons, and women love to use these to make decorative quilts or bed covers. They look a whole lot nicer than Crown Royal bags. Um, Wives, sisters, and mothers encourage the men and their families to purchase tobacco products with the wrappings that the women needed in their quilt making. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I
we've seen
remember
this
this one.
one. The blue is just so
Oh yeah, that blue is
brilliantly blue.
gorgeous. And I think I remember saying, I don't love blue and gold together because they were my high school colors. But you have to say that like really gold and yellow plus that blue is very striking. It's very
Yeah, and look,
pretty.
here's my initials right here.
Oh, JA.
Yeah,
It must have been some specific cigar or brand because you could see it
yeah,
everywhere in that.
yeah. All right, so I skipped the last one because it
Oh,
was a
wow.
crazy clip that we've seen before. So
That
again,
Star of Bethlehem or Lone Star,
my
whichever you want to call it. Whew.
my love-hate relationship with this bed setup. Like I love the bed. I love that we can see a quilt on a bed, but I wish we were seeing this unobstructed. It is beautificent. Here you go, my dear.
So this is the quilt that's on the wall, right? Unknown maker, southeastern Pennsylvania, Star of Bethlehem. I guess when they're sort of late 18 or mid 1800s and it's East Coast, it's a Star of Bethlehem. But when you get get to Texas, they call them the Lone Stars. And I know the Native Americans also call them Lone Stars. Anyway, so Star of Bethlehem, circa 1840, cottons, hand pieced and hand applique. This very large Star of Bethlehem quilt contains a wonderful sampling of the types of fabric available to the well-to-do quilter in eastern Pennsylvania in the second quarter of the 19th century. Technically, this pattern requires great piecing skill, as any mistake in the inner sections is magnified in the outer borders and results in an uneven outer edge. The quilter has cut out cotton chintz floral bouquets and appliqued them to the background fabric. This quilt is featured in the book Homage to Amanda, written by Edwin Binney and Gail Binney Winslow. I have that book.
I do too.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
and I knew that it's Gail Binney and her father were the collectors. And I did remember that they wrote that book, and I keep forgetting to pull it out and look at, read some of the
Yeah,
information.
I mean, honestly, we should read it at some point.
We should. It's been around for a while. Like it wasn't. It was probably
Mhm.
in the 90s, I guess, when it was published, maybe. But yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, there's just everything about this quilt is just like top tier
Mm-hmm.
amazingness. And then, I feel like I don't know if this person would have used, our equivalent of, graph paper, but I feel like if there was a quilt really that gave you the feeling that this was an early drafting kind of woman, like this is
Mm-hmm.
one of those quilts.
It looks, I mean, just looking at this little corner of the quilt, it looks like there was a lot of precision. This was
Mm-hmm.
very precise. And I can't quite tell. It looks like the quilting is a lot more detailed than the other one that just went out and didn't create the star.
Well, what's interesting is look, she's quilted in double lines
Oh, and
here.
is it hand quilting?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I guess based on the
100%.
date. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on the date it would have to be.
Well,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
even just look, it's 100% hand quilting. Yep, yep, yep. And then we added some razzle dazzle here.
Oh, so that's applique on. Okay. Yeah, that isn't part
Mhm.
of the fabric. Interesting. Oh, it's interesting how she did that. And that yellow fabric, that it's like mustardy. I really like that color.
So I going back to you were mentioning my star.
Mhm.
There's a yellow fabric in mine that I feel is similar to this. And if you remember at that good old fashioned quilt study where I brought that quilt,
Right.
um, the um historian friend Rhonda McAllen, who does Baltimore album quilts, she brought up that she thought that my quilt was likely in the Baltimore type kind of area and stuff. And one of the things she really gravitated toward was also the use of the yellow,
The yellow.
mustardy-ish kind of
Okay.
yellow. Yep, in mine. Um, and I wonder if like it was like a thing to make sure that there was this like yellow piece.
Yeah, I don't know. I know in especially in Pennsylvania, um, our friends that live in Pennsylvania and I've studied Pennsylvania quilts, I mean, there's that Pennsylvania Dutch, they kind of stuck with these patterns of color, or, these colors that they made patterns with. But yeah, this is just spectacular. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just really pretty and really, really well constructed.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it's in pristine condition.
Yep. Yep. And again, the one thing that kind of stinks about that bed is like I can only get close up to the sides of it. I mean,
Right.
and don't get me wrong, like full disclosure, I would never do it. But every time I think about like, God, if I could just get on the bed.
They would snatch you out of the museum so fast.
Yeah. I loved her fussy cutting right here.
Oh yeah. I really like this one.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one. You should have seen me leaning over this bed.
Like trying to take the
Yeah,
picture.
and the amount of times I have to say to like a patron, like, I work here. because they're like, what is she doing? But yeah, like there's even I feel like there's a little bit of fussy cutting going on
Yeah,
right
it looked like she
here.
was attempting to make it look sort of like a swirl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very
Yep,
cool.
yep, yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed by this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Here's the one on the bed.
This
This
one
one,
too. Yes.
I have a picture of it, but there's a very interesting edge treatment here. So this one is Maker Unknown, thousands of triangles, circa 1920. Silk lace, hand pieced, hand quilted. The 110 four and 4 and 1 inch blocks are each composed of 100 2 inch across the base triangles. Do the math. The title of the quilt is not wrong. There are 11,000 triangles in this quilt. I will not be doing the math. The pieced blocks alternate with 90 plain off-white silk blocks. The way the blocks are arranged is called on point, and this set results in a lovely jagged edge, which is filled with lace. It's very, very interesting.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Let me spin this around. It's funny,
Yeah,
in this
that's
photo,
really
the
beautiful
triangles
lace.
don't look that small, but they are.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful lace. Um,
Yep. Yep, this quilt's really, really cute. Where did my little hello?
is that the
Where?
last one?
No.
Okay.
Where? Okay, there's that one. Are you just in the way? Hold on. Where did my thing go? There's that. Hold. That is by no means the last one. What are you doing, computer?
Our computers have been misbehaving the last weeks or
Mhm.
so. Sun flares? AI? Who knows?
Okay. I don't know what that was about. That was weird. I really just went like right back into the file and like
Huh.
I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, it's that what is it, picture or something is what this app is called.
Yeah, sometimes that's weird. I like this like sheen of the silk. This one's
Yeah.
just it's just very cute. Nice use of scraps. I would totally make something like this with like leftover half square
Hmm.
triangles, you know.
Yeah, I have to say, there is something very satisfying about a half square triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is pretty.
Mm-hmm. This one is laying on the big table that's there, and it's funny. I'm used to the ones on the table being huge, and then
Yeah,
this
really
one's
big.
not.
Mhm.
But yeah, this one's very stimulating.
So this one is Maker Unknown, tumbling blocks, circa 1880, hand pieced with 4,143 pieces, silk and
Amateur.
velvet. Right? Grace Snyder's like, you haven't even started. Silk and velvet. In the late 19th century, quilts made with luxury materials such as silks were an urban decorative craze. Crazy quilts were favored, but women also made silk quilts in the log cabin and tumbling blocks pattern. This extraordinary pattern, with its three-dimensional emphasis, would be effective in any fabric as long as the quilt maker understood the shading and color are its all important characteristics. Yet in patterned silks, tumbling blocks possesses added depth and dynamism. The viewer is optically deceived as the eye shifts from a single block to the overall design. The architectural use of positive and negative space to create an illusion, as seen here, is the basis of many of today's contemporary quilts. And yeah, I love tumbling blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just simply as like you just need a dark, a light, and a mid,
Yep.
and you could create that optical illusion.
Yeah, this thing also is like in really great condition.
Yeah, this must have been high quality silk.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so it looks like those are applique down, are they? Or is the black also? hexagons. I can't tell.
The black looks like a full hexagon to me.
Yeah.
Because
Okay, that's interesting.
this looks whip stitched here.
Hmm.
It's interesting though, because some of these look like a different kind of weave
Yeah, like
than
there's
like
one that
this.
seems really shiny, and then that one
Hmm.
seems matte. Maybe she was working with a couple different kinds of silk, just trying to fill in where she could.
Yep. Yep. This is cool. This is cool.
Oh my goodness.
Hmm. What would we do without a New York beauty? So we've got unknown maker, collected in Oregon, New York beauty circa 1880, hand and machine pieced, hand quilted cotton. The name New York beauty implies a New York provenance. However, most existing examples were not made in New York. These quilts are most frequently found in the southern states of Tennessee, Alabama, and the Carolinas. I didn't know that.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
In 1930, the batting manufacturer Stearns and Foster published this pattern and incorrectly stated that it dated back to the colonial days. Quilt historians have traced the pattern to as many as 25 different names, the most popular being Rocky Mountain Road, Crown of Thorns, and Sunrise. The earliest known examples of this pattern date from the early 19th century. The use of a simple red and white color combination for this quilt showcases the complexity of the piecing required to form the pattern and enhances its visual impact.
The New York Beauty is one of those ones I think sometimes confuses me a little bit. Because sometimes like that center sort of sunburst, sometimes that's really big, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
like some of these other components are smaller. Um, yeah. Looks like this one's not quite.
Yeah, they're often a little wonky. Yeah,
But
that's one of the things
wow,
I
the
love about them.
starburst. I mean, that's pretty small, right? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
oh my goodness. And today I know people often like foundation piece those,
Mm-hmm.
like they're or paper like not English paper piecing, but like foundation paper pieced.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because that's the only way to keep your sanity. And then you got to applique this belly button on top of it to cover up the poof that will happen in the
Mm-hmm.
center. Um,
Yeah, I remember my mom took a New York beauty class, and this has been a long time ago, and they used for their foundation, their sort of template, I guess, foundation. She had the instructor had gotten these industrial coffee filters. So when you flatten them out, they're very big, and of course, it's like a lightweight paper because it's a coffee filter. And that's what she and I can't remember how. I don't know. I think you used a ruler and stuff and marked parts off and
hmm,
stuff. So yeah.
interesting.
Oh, I like that loopy quilting. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep, simple but effective.
And that I believe is a dog tooth border.
Yeah, and then like just some simple little like stitch in the ditch kind of quilting here. Like, yeah. And then like they're like, oh, there's some space, put a leaf.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this one. I like that one. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, look at that border. It's tiny little toothpicks. I don't know what else you call that.
Yeah, this is our last quilt. And I also one thing I love about this that you can only see when it's big is each of the leaves in the corner here are different.
Oh, they're different leaves in two
Hmm.
different colors. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, this is makes me happy.
Unknown maker, Greenwich, Ohio. I guess that's Greenwich. Greenwich.
Yeah, Greenwich.
I know some state like there's stuff in Massachusetts that's not pronounced like the British way that I it is. I can't remember. It was something you corrected me recently, and I was like, "That's
This,
not the British way."
yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I digress. Greenwich, Ohio, sunburst with sharp needle pointed border. Okay, that's what they're calling that. 1855, hand pieced, appliqued, and quilted cotton. The decade of the 1850s was a time of celebration for American quilt makers. The economy was good, the textile revolution made quilting calicos affordable, and advances in household technology gave women increased leisure time. The favorite color combination of the era was red and green. This Ohio maker probably bought these fabrics specifically for this quilt. Many people believed that most quilts were made out of scraps of clothing, but a presentation piece such as this would have been meticulously planned and executed with fabrics carefully chosen. The quilt maker showed off her needlework skills, offsetting the already difficult sunburst pattern with a complex border. Yeah, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Those little sunbursts are hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a number of quilts with this sunburst pattern, and again today, I think that contemporary quilt makers would cut this up and make it into something where you sort of can foundation piece, etc. Whereas quilt makers back in the day, like literally like inset these into the backing fabric and like
Mm-hmm.
inset, like it's crazy.
Yep, these are looking inset to me.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I mean,
um,
she's got some real tight. I wouldn't be surprised if this is, 9 or 10 stitches per inch for the quilting.
mhm. Now this fabric that's in the center is interesting. It's almost like a lenticular design, I
Yeah.
mean, it's like stripy, but it's
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's funny on the original photo, from far away, they almost look like kind of photographs of like, like people.
Mhm. This is one of those quilts that from far away, I wasn't sure what the colors were in it. I mean, I could guess that there was probably red.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sitting here going like, okay, I think green is in there, and is there yellow in there? But you get up close and it's sort of a tan.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And this green is almost like a dark tealy bluey
Mm-hmm.
green.
Yeah, a teal foresty green.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get over this border.
And look at the
Holy
points.
cow!
Look at her points are like
Oh my
perfect.
gosh, they're really good.
So often the points are cut off.
If I tried that, it would be like, look at these long, skinny, weird parallelograms. Oh my
Yep.
goodness.
Yep. She knew what she was about. That is for
Yeah,
sure.
that's a flex,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that kind of stuff is definitely a flex.
Yep.
And let's see, what is that tree? Is that like a tulip poplar leaf? I think that's a poplar leaf, maybe.
Okay.
And the other one looks maybe like an oak leaf.
Yeah, one looked like an oak leaf. I don't know what the other ones. It was too dark, like at the bottom there. But oh, I don't know why
Wow.
that.
It just demands to be seen again.
Yeah, it's just like show me that again. That
Yeah,
was
I mean that
that was
that
the
type
show.
of lace, like that's kind of a wide, and it's in like most of it is netted. It's
Mm-hmm.
the really lacy floral part is just at the bottom. Like that's the kind of thing that would be like on the bottom of skirts and on
Thought you were gonna say on
sleeves
the
of
bottom of
things.
someone's shoe.
Yeah, but that's like looks like fancy French lace, that pricey.
Yeah, yeah, sure was fancy schmancy.
Well, that was a fun show, and especially given the fact that as we're reading Kirikov's book, and we just
Mm-hmm.
landed on that little section the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I'm almost really just never disappointed with anything that ends up in that gallery.
Well, I would say the New England Quilt Museum has a pretty decent collection.
Mm-hmm.
And when you guys have shows of like contemporary stuff also, you seem to get great art, great quilt artists. So
Yep.
I'm don't think I've ever been disappointed by any of the shows that you've been able to capture for us.
And I am sitting on some of those exhibits as well. So there will be, now that we're in a break period from a book, aside from streams all about the shenanigans that you'll have to hear about, there's, exhibits and things to look at, and we'll be getting more exhibits and things to look at while we're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be sick of quilts.
Who could ever get sick of quilts? Come on.
It could happen. Maybe
There
someone's
comes
ill.
there comes a time, I have to be honest, there comes a time like at seminar
Oh yeah, at the
where
end of seminar,
I just have to close my eyes from quilts. I don't really want to stop looking at that. I just need to rest my eyes.
no, yeah, but no, by the end, I'm like, I don't want to talk to another person. I don't want to look at another quilt. And this will live in infamy when I left the Terrytown seminar and I was driving, it's only 3 hours away, and I drove alone. And I remember getting in the car, and for like the first 2 hours of the ride, I drove in silence.
Yeah.
Like, and then when I get to whatever point is the 2 hour point, it was one of those,
How did I get here?
yeah, who drove this car? Because my brain was just trying to like process all the things. So,
Yeah,
and then when we start, in the week that comes after, when we start talking about, all the things, then we're like, oh, I wish I looked at that again.
I know.
I wish I talked to that person. It's just par for the course. So we'll see y'all when we get back,
Yeah.
and you'll get to hear about all our
Our
shenanigans.
shenanigans. Yeah, I guess by the time you see this one,
We'll
we
be
will
at
be
seminar. We'll be
yeah,
getting,
we'll
yep.
be there and yeah, we'll be back soon.
Yeah, so while we're at seminar, keep your eyes on our Facebook and our Instagram, because you never know if we're going to share stuff, if we're going to get a wild hair somewhere and do a quick pop-up.
Mm-hmm.
Things can happen.
Jill gets footage of me swimming around in a pile of quilts.
Oh, yeah, I gotta be on the lookout for embarrassing cake footage. I'm on it.
You're welcome.
Have a great
All
one,
right.
everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.